Welcome to Katie's Classroom. I'm your host, Katie, and today I am talking all about your future self. I'm not really going to talk so much as take you through a guided meditation. So I'm going to invite you as you listen to this opener to grab a pen, grab a journal. This is intended for you to have a quiet space, to close your eyes, and to relax into the visualization. And then some time for you to journal afterwards. I'll hold that space on this podcast episode today, as well as give you some questions to consider as you're journaling. While you get prepared for that, I want to just talk a little bit about the journey that we're going to go on and a little bit of the science behind what is happening as you journey here. HRV, heart rate variability, is what the Heart Math Institute is bringing, and HRV training is something that athletes also do to create more flow state. Flow state is a fancy way of saying my heart, my brain, and my hormones are all in sync. And when all of those are in sync, your heart is actually sending very clear signals up to your brain. And then your brain is sending them back down into the gut. And then you have these thoughts, these ideas that show up for you. Oftentimes, we'll hear people say, I had a download. This information just showed up. And, or I'm connected to a higher self. I'm connected to something bigger than me. Your heart gives off an electromagnetic field that we can measure 4 feet all around you. And that's only because we can only measure 4 feet from scientific instruments. The research shows we can shift people's energies through walls with our own hearts. So there is a much larger field. When you think of a cell phone, you don't see the waves that travel through the sky to connect you, but you are able to talk on a phone. These same energetic waves are being created by you. As a human, you are energy before you are a cell that then divides and becomes the fetus that then grows to become the baby and then gives birth to what now they're considering a human when you take that first breath and get your social security number. I digress. That energetic spark that occurs as you are energy first before you are biology. So we're going to be connecting to that energy and that wisdom that resides in the heart. There is a heart brain. The heart brain is our autonomic nervous system. We have our parasympathetic, fight, flight, freeze. We have our sympathetic, breathe through your belly, activate your vagus nerve, get that sympathetic nervous system going. And then we have the autonomic nervous system. 95% of what we're doing is in our autonomic nervous system. Ever driven somewhere and realized, how did I get here? And oh, I hope I stopped at that light. Was there a light? What happened? How did I arrive? Your autonomic nervous system is actually making and predicting your decisions before your brain receives that information. For far too long, we have been into the brain as the master builder of everything we do. And the more we study the brain and the more we work with the brain in the United States, the more mentally depressed and anxious and medicated we get. Perhaps as we move towards the future, we'll start looking at the vibrations of the heart. And like Einstein said, vibrations are the future of medicine. Perhaps we'll also decide to catch up there. I don't know if Pfizer can make money on that. So we'll see if the pharmaceutical industry comes along for the ride. Today's intention of connecting you to your future self is to allow you to experience what it's like to truly connect to your heart. In the spiritual community, they may call this the higher self. And it really doesn't matter what language. Inner mentor is language I've heard. Inner board of directors is some language I've heard. When women come to me and talk about developing confidence, this is where confidence lives because this is where your decision maker lives. Your heart, if it were to stop, you would not live. But if your brain stops, you can still live in comatose state. I think there's a lot to be said there of how powerful this heart is. And so we want to tap into the wisdom that's there. The wisdom that says, we already know where you're going and we're going to take you there. If you haven't gotten comfortable yet, hopefully you have a few more minutes as I open this book to get ready. I will be reading this, and am paraphrasing and improving through this, but I will be using a script from the book Playing Big by Tara Moore. She also went to CTI, which is where I graduated from my coaching school, and she borrowed this specific visualization with their permission for her book from CTI. I've found a lot of positive shifts for people after they've experienced this. She refers to it as the inner mentor. I like to think of it as your higher self, your future self. It is your confident self. It is confidence at the root of it. Con means together. Fider is French for trust. It is together we trust. Confidence is together, your heart and your brain, the people you're working with, there is trust there. And that trust starts with you. We go to experts to get inspired, to learn from them, and then create whatever they've shared with us in our own authentic way. We have forgotten how to access our own expertise. And I find that being able to create the HRV, heart rhythm, in a coherence allows that information to flow, allows you to become your own expert again. You can come back and visit this exercise anytime you'd like, whether it's pressing play on Katie's Classroom and hearing it again, or it's simply sitting yourself down and taking yourself through this visualization, which is what I do for myself. Allow yourself to be open as you go through this. There are no expectations. Just allow yourself to be present within your body. Once you've found a comfortable spot, having that pen and paper nearby, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Relax all the little muscles around your eyes. Relax your jaw. Let your cheeks feel heavy. Notice your breath as you inhale and exhale. Feeling the temperature of the breath as it leaves your nose. Imagine that your body is a body of water, a calm lake. As you take a breath in and release it out, just notice the soft current in that body of water. Let at each exhale carry some tension and stress away. And again, with another breath out, just let any tension or stress float right by you. Bring your attention to your feet. Notice if you're carrying any tightness or stress in your feet. And if so, just soften there and let it out. Let a soft heaviness come into your feet. Move your attention to your calves, your shins. Relax that area. Send some breath there to loosen it up. Soften around your knees, breathing in and out, relaxing more deeply. Now move your attention upward, releasing your quads and upper legs. Imagine any tension that's there just seeping away. Then, as you take your next breath, imagine it moving into your hips, into your pelvic area, and opening it up. As you exhale, let any stress and tension melt away. Allow your belly to fully release, relaxing your torso and your chest, and letting any stress seep out. Now move your attention to your upper back and your shoulders. Let any tension melt right off and down your back. Soften your neck, your jaw, your tongue. Relax your brow. Let go of any tension you're holding there. Release your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands. Now bring your attention to the spot on your forehead right between your eyes. Notice a beam of light stretching out from that point on your forehead. Notice if that beam of light has a color or set of colors in it. Notice the quality of that light. Notice that that beam of light stretches up, out of the room that you're in, all the way through the ceiling. Notice that it actually stretches all the way out of the building that you're in, shining out into the sky. Allow yourself to travel on this beam of light. Imagine yourself floating up and just let yourself walk along that beam up out of the room where you are, following the beam upward. Allow that beam to take you higher and higher. Notice the building where you were getting smaller in your view. As you travel, notice the beauty of the sky and move through the clouds. Start to see the view of your city or town below you. As you travel faster and higher, start to see the whole region where you were beneath you. Move up and up until you can see the beautiful globe of blue and green and white. Enjoy the view. Travel upward and upward until you're in a blue-black space, silent, velvety, and dark. Notice that there is another beam next to the one that you're standing on, another beam of light. Notice what the color and quality of that beam is. Notice that this beam stretches all the way back down toward Earth. Notice that this beam stretches down toward Earth 20 years into the future. 20 years from now. Go ahead and step onto that beam and let it gracefully carry you down. Notice Earth starting to come into focus again. The contours starting to get clearer and larger in your view. Enjoy passing through the clouds again as you make your way down to Earth. As you begin getting closer, start to notice that you are going to the home, the dwelling place of your future self, yourself 20 years from now. Start to notice that the beam is taking you to meet your future self. Notice what part of the world you are in. Continue riding the beam down, enjoying the view below. Follow it all the way until it takes you to the dwelling place of your future self, dropping you off right there. Take a look around. What kind of place is this? What is it like there? What does it feel like? Look around at the outside and then notice there is a home, a dwelling place. Make your way toward the door. As you approach the door, see that your future self is coming to warmly greet you and welcome you. Take in the presence and the face of your future self. Let your future self invite you inside. Notice what the inside of the house is like. Notice as your future self offers you something to drink and something to eat. Notice that your future self is now taking you to one of their favorite spots in the house for a chat. Take a look around. What room is it that you're in? What is it that you see? Your future self is present and ready to listen to you and share wisdom. Ask what has mattered most over the past 20 years. What has mattered most to you over the past 20 years? Your future self may answer you in words or just with a feeling or a facial expression or images. Listen to what your future self has to say now. Ask, what do I need to know to get from where I am to where you are? What do I need to know to get from where I am to where you are? Ask, what will help me to sing my true song? Listen to the answer. Let the answer surprise you. Now go ahead and ask any other question about anything you would like to ask, big or small. You can ask about a dilemma or a tough situation in your life, or anything else you'd like to hear your future self's perspective about. Ask, what is your true name other than your given name? What name are you called by? Be open to whatever surprising name shows up first here. It may make sense to you or not. Ask your future self, what do they enjoy doing with their free time? What are some of the daily rituals, morning or evening routines? What kind of art or creative pursuits does your future self enjoy? How does your future self handle difficult relationships? How does your future self care for themselves emotionally? What do they do with sadness, anger, joy? Anything else that you would like to ask, do so now. Now bring your visit with your future self to a close, knowing you can come back and visit anytime. Thank for the wisdom and guidance your future self offered you. Notice as you are bringing your conversation to a close that your future self has a parting gift they're very excited to give you. Let them bring that gift to you now. Make your way out of the house and find your way back to the beam that brought you to her. Go ahead and step up on that beam and let it begin to carry you upward again. Watch the home getting smaller and smaller beneath you as you move through the clouds, all the way up through that dark blue-black space. Notice that next to the beam you're standing on, the original beam, the one you traveled on, is waiting for you. Step on that beam and start to travel back down to Earth in the present time. As you travel downward, start to see Earth coming into focus below you. See the landscape of your part of the world, your country, your region. See your city or town from a bird's eye view. Follow that beam all the way back down into the room where you began your journey. Slowly come back into your body. Feel your toes and your fingers. Wiggle them a little bit. Feel the support of the chair, the couch beneath you. When you are ready, open your eyes and journal about what you saw. Any images, feelings, or words from your inner mentor, your future self. What was your home like? What food and drink did you bring yourself? What did you learn about what you need to get from where you are to where your future self resides? What is your true song? How do you sing it? What is your true name? I find that if a true name has shown up here, even if it doesn't make sense, you know you've tapped in to that future self. What was her parting gift or his parting gift? What did you learn about caring for yourself emotionally? Any daily rituals or morning or evening routines that you've learned you'd like to cultivate? I find that talking with your future self allows you to start to make adjustments now so that you end up there. What does your future self wear? Is it different from what you're wearing now? In the book Playing Big by Tara Moore, she offers 10 ways to grow this inner mentor, this future self that you've just met. Asking yourself, what would my future self do in this situation? What would my future self say? Checking in to see what that answer is. This is where I like to bring in the HRV belly breathing so that you can quickly check in with your future self. I have a episode on the heart math and how the heart is predicting a very few seconds before your brain receives the information. So checking in with your heart brings that autonomic nervous system, that brain that lives there. It makes it conscious for you. Another way you might grow your future self relationship is making some art about this, a drawing, a painting, something that helps evoke that sense of future self. Blocking off a window during the week to spend as your future self would spend it. For example, you might reserve a couple of hours on a Sunday evening to spend as your future self spends their Sunday evenings. You could choose a day this week to dress like your future self, wearing what your future self would wear, noticing how it impacts your day, how it alters the way you see yourself. When you sit down to write an email, you can do a quick check in with what it is that your future self would say and write that message. Allow it to flow. Make a change to your home or office environment to help reflect that taste and style. Can identify a difficult situation or dilemma in your life and check in internally. How would your future self see it? Imagine walking over and standing with your future self, watching things from their vantage point, literally. How does the situation look from there? Oftentimes, people notice that their future self is not as stressed, does not have the same worries that current self has. I suppose that's why the future self feels so much more confident. They've already handled these problems that you currently have, and they feel confident in their abilities to handle anything that comes their way. Apparently, my future self, as I prepped for this today, was going to wear something fancier. Usually, if you tune into this podcast, I'm in my collared shirt that I wear to work. My future self is wearing pink, similar a little bit to my current self. Big fan of that color. My future self wanted to be a little bit fancier, though, with their outfit. Lets me know that I'm probably my future self presenting on stages where it's required versus behind a screen that you may not actually look at because your eyes were closed during the visualization. I find when I bring something new to my space or let go of something that perhaps my future self would not own, it creates room. Everything is energy. Everything gives off its own vibration, including that blade of grass outside, the desk that we're sitting at, I'm sitting at. Everything has its own vibrational energy. The more we tune in to the future self's vibrational energy, the less we tune in to the anxious current self's energy that may be present. There is wisdom in your heart. There is wisdom in that higher self. When I look back at the problems I had in seventh grade, those aren't problems for 41-year-old Katie. 61-year-old Katie won't have the same challenges that 41-year-old Katie has. She has insights to offer me. You can go back and visit your mentor, your future self, whatever name that you've chosen, anytime that you wish. My favorite part about the brain is that 95% of it does not know the difference between thinking about it and actually experiencing it. Yes, this is how research works. We know that if you picture yourself, if you're a basketball player, imagining yourself shooting free throws for an hour a day and never touch a basketball, you will get about 10 to 15% better at the free throw line. Wow. 10% improvement simply by visualizing what you want to happen, visualizing what has happened if you're visiting a future self. Seems powerful enough for a reason to experiment, which is why I like to combine the HRV breathing exercises with visualizations, a little sports psychology. Visualize yourself going through those motions. Scan your space and look at what is it that future self still has that current self should keep. What is it that future self doesn't have that current self may be ready to let go of? Now that I've said that, I suppose those skinny jeans on the top shelf in my closet are not something 61-year-old Katie wants me to hold on to. It instantly feels easier for me to go get rid of those. Are they coming back? Have we decided skinny? Okay, I'm just kidding. The jokes are for me. The visualization is for you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Katie's Classroom, free the month of September in honor of my dad's 70th birthday, and we will leave all of these episodes up. If you're interested in joining the virtual classroom, you can click the link to learn more in the podcast, and I hope to see you there. In the meantime, remember that life is a classroom and school wasn't fun. So make sure that your life's classroom embodies all that is.